Everything seems to be working. Hello, hello, and welcome. Alrighty. So for today, I'm working on something a little different. Going to be making some cosplay animal ears. And yeah, right now I'm on the painting phase. So I'll show you how I paint them. I see that Ka is here. Hello, Ka. How you doing? Or should I say fairy bot? Alrighty, so yes, I am on the painting phase. These little guys have already been glued and trimmed together, and so now I'm going to be adding a little bit of pink to make them more of a ear. I gotta find my brushes. Hey, and it's Win. Hi, Win. How you doing? So I gotta get my brushes in order. I like working with I like this brush because it's kind of like a fluffy brush, but the bristles are not soft. They're pretty stiff. Like that. It's actually like a good in between stiff and soft. And then I like to use a flat brush like here. And then I'm going to grab a mixing brush. This one's good for mixing. Aw, thank you, Ka. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. Aw, that really means a lot, Ka, for the little bits. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Good, I'm glad you're doing good, Win. Glad you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good too. I feel a bit tired, but I'm okay. Alrighty. So to make the pink in the ears, it's a lot more complicated than just pink acrylic paint that's watered down. I actually mix my own pink. So I do a bit of white. I do add actual rose pink. Aw, thank you, Win. Thank you for the subs. Thank you. Win, I appreciate you both. Thank you. Thank you so much. Aw. Yes, and the dancing dinosaurs. Absolutely. And then I add also a little bit of burnt sienna to this mix and a bit of yellow to this mix. I know, right? It's pretty complicated for just pink and ears. I know. I find sometimes that the rose pink is a little too pink. Actually, I don't think I want to use this brush today. I'm just going to use this brush today. That's why I mix my own. So add a bit of yellow. I'm almost kind of making like a pinky flesh tone. So these are all the same colors that I would use for skin tones. I added way too much yellow. That is very like creamy brown. We're going for more this color right here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and a ton more pink. And then I'm going to add white. There we go. All right, and then now that I'm happy with this color, I'm going to add a lot of water. A lot of water. So normally for this phase, most ear makers will airbrush for this part. Could I airbrush? Yes, I have an airbrush. I actually don't have any pink paint, but this acrylic apparently I could water it down with alcohol and I could make it work. But I came up with this method so that I don't have to pull out my whole airbrush every time I want to make ears, and I don't have to like clean it and set up outside. Also at the time of the beginning, when coming up with this concept, I was going to teach a class to middle schoolers on how to make little animal ears. And I'm like, okay, the school's not gonna like let me bring in an airbrush and have the kids use the airbrush. And also at the same time, I'm like, there won't be enough for everyone. Everyone have to wait their turn. That sounds annoying. And yeah. Also too, airbrushes have lots of teeny tiny parts, and I didn't want them to come apart. So there was lots of reasons. So I had to come up with another way for I had to come up with something else that would take the place of an airbrush. And I'm like, well, there's paint, there's palettes, there's paint brushes. How can I do this? How can I get this effect of an airbrush look without actually using an airbrush? So now that that's nice and watery, very much like watercolor consistency, that's what I want it to look like. And I'm gonna put it aside. And I'm gonna bring forward my ears. Hey, and it's Isaac. Hi, Isaac. How you doing? Aw, you're welcome, Win. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Of course. I'm happy to be here and show my work. All right. So, for the first ear, what I do is I take some of my watered down paint and I do it just in the corner of the ear like that. And then I take my thumb and I rub it in. And I kind of use the paint that's in this corner to like fade out. Yeah. So each pair of ears that you see me with, I hand paint them all like this. And with this paint, it does dry very fast, so that's why I'm always keeping my brush wet so it doesn't ruin the bristles. Hey, hi, Evolea. How you doing? Aw, thank you. I do feel cute today. Then I'm going to take my flat brush and I'm going to go along the edge of the ear. When I first started this, I was going for more of a realistic look, but over time it's kind of taken this cartoony kind of look, and I like them because I feel like this little detail here really is like my signature. You know, it's funny, everyone's ears, every ear maker, they make their ears kind of different, and you can almost tell whose is whose, which I kind of like, you know. Every set of ears is different. There we go. And now I'm gonna put this off to dry, and that's how you paint an animal ear. Or a cosplay animal ear. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Hey, it's Nacho. Hi, Nacho. How you doing? Yeah, how is everyone doing today? It's Friday. It's the beginning of the weekend. or the end of the week. The weekend begins tomorrow. I'm really starting to feel the deadline of these years. I have just a couple left to do. Um, and I think I should be able to finish them in this stream today for sure. Aw, well, Evolea, I send you digital air hugs. Sending you hugs. Aw. I'm doing good, Evolea. Doing good. Feeling sleepy, but I'm okay. I was up most of the night working on the Jinx booms. Yeah. Because I gotta get those done. I don't know what it is. I think last time when I made these, they were like, it was the summertime, so the oil paint was drying a lot faster. And it takes about, at first, when I first made them, it took like a day for the oil paint to dry, but now I'm finding that it's taking like 2 days for the oil paint to dry. So I don't know if I'm using more turpentine than I did in the past, or if it's just the temperature. But yeah. So I'm like, well, I need to get them done now. So I stayed up working on the Jinx props. Because today I really wanted to work on the ears. I feel like I promised you guys I would work on ears. Wanted to work on ears. Switch it up too. I've been working on the Jinx props a lot, so and then for the deer ears, I don't really have like any um creases or lines that I follow, like any like ear creases. Um they're kind of just like this in pink. Yeah, you saw my story when, hey, when I have to get a project done, sometimes it takes that I stay up late to finish it. No, no, Win. I'm a little night owl. Naturally, I stay up late. Yep, so my goal is uh to finish these, and then later tonight, hopefully, they will be dry. They should be dry. I mean, acrylic paint dries pretty quickly, but also too, we're talking about water in fur, so it's gonna take a couple of hours. Usually I let them sit overnight, but since I'm doing it earlier today, they should be good by tonight, and then I will wire wrap them on headbands. Look, I got these big old purple ones. I really like this purple fur color. I acquired it because of an ear commission or ear and tail commission. You guys remember that big old uh purple tail I made back in November? Yeah, that's so I have like just a little bit left of that fur. And I'm like, why don't I make some ears out of it? I don't know, maybe someone will want to be a purple cat. Yeah, I'm okay, Evolea, no worries. No need to worry about me. I'm all good. And now for this one, gonna go right along the edge. Yep. So is anyone else working on any projects? Working on anything? Does anyone like any? What is everyone working on? Are we just hanging out and chilling? Which there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with hanging out and chilling. You drawing, Win? Are you still drawing the painting that you're trying to make for your brother? Aw, thank you, Evolea. Yeah, of course. Only positive vibes here. I just want to bring the creative vibes, positive vibes. Absolutely. Yeah, this is the only part of my ears that I actually paint. I personally don't like nothing that there's nothing wrong with painting the fur color on the ears, I think. But personally, I like to keep my ears really soft, and the paint kind of makes it crunchy, which for the middles of the ears, I don't think that's a problem, but like the tips of the ears or making an ombre, I would rather just, have different colored fur to keep the whole ear soft. And sure, I could get a more realistic look if I used an airbrush on this part, but kind of okay with this like cutesy cartoony look. Kind of like the cartoon vibes a little bit. I really hope people like this purple fur. Um, there was a set of ears that I had. So when I was making the catnap ear commission, that's what this fur's from catnap. Um, I kind of, I don't know, I had two ideas of how to make the ears, and then I let my friend decide which version she liked better. So she chose one, and the other one she didn't really care for. I ended up just throwing into the inventory, and it was one of the first ears that sold. Someone just instantly saw it, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that purple color," so and bought it. And yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I have a little leftover that's just sitting in my drawer. Why not make some more purple ears? See what happens. Yeah, yeah, when no, right now is a perfect time to work on your painting, especially that you got a deadline. So, yeah, work on it. Like I said, work on it at least a little bit each day, and you'll get it done. Yes, yes. But also, when don't be so hard on yourself. Faces are like really hard. Faces and portraits are probably one of the hardest things to paint. So, don't be super hard on yourself. I saw your sketch. It's looking really good. So, you're good. Just keep working. Aw, I'm sorry, Nacho, about your headache. I'm glad you're feeling better, though. Wait, what? Aw, maybe you just needed to sleep. Maybe the headache was from being like really tired or something. So, putting purple ears aside. And then they got little mouse ears. These ones have like a blonde, a very light blonde fur. It's funny, a lot of people ask me if they're mouse ears or if they're lion ears. And personally, I think they could be either. Um, a lot of my ears I feel like are kind of universal in a way. Like, they could work for cat ears or wolf ears. The fox ears are pretty clear what they are. Um, but yeah, like these ones, I was first thinking mouse when I first drew the pattern, but then I kept having people being like, "Oh my gosh, they're lion ears." I'm like, they kind of do look like lion ears, and I've even had some people like um make like lion cosplays, whether they're characters from like the Lion King or if they're just like OCs. Um but yeah, no, I think it works. I should make official though lion ones with this pattern and put the little black fur at the tip. I should do that. It's funny. I have a bigger version of these ears. So these are my extra smalls. And then I also have a small version that's a pattern very similar to this one, just larger. And they do look like mouse ears, but if you fold them down, they kind of look like floppy puppy dog ears. Same with my bunny ears, like my bunny ears that are stand straight up. Those also look like floppy buff, like puppy ears if you bend them down. So I think it's kind of funny how the ears they're kind of they kind of work for a lot of characters, like especially my fawn ears. A lot of people think they're floppy bunny ears, and they actually work as floppy bunny ears. So it's up for interpretation. It's up for whichever character you're trying to dress up as. And that's what I kind of like about them too. It's not like they're something that's hard set. Nice, Isaac. That's super exciting. You did your voice acting practice. And Isaac, how did practice go? Tell me all about it. Oh, thank you, Win. Thank you for posting the Discord. The Discord. Nice. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad you had a great voice acting practice. That is awesome, Isaac. That's super, super cool. I'm happy for you, Isaac. I am. I'm happy you had a good practice, and I hope you're able to make some connections in there too, and maybe get a gig doing some voice acting. That'd be super cool. One day you will, Isaac. Absolutely. One day, for sure. Yeah, look at these cute little mice. They're so cute. Alright, we got these ones. Some more fawn ears. Or floppy bunny ears. Yeah, just trying to get as many ears done as possible before the show's coming up. There we are. Yeah. You know, Evo Leia, I really like what Wayne said. I think that's very, very true. I think that art can be a really good way of self-expression. And, you know, if you're drawing something like super personal that means a lot to you, you don't always have to show it to everyone, you know? Um, if it's just something for you just to kind of release, then I say, yeah, work on it. And you know, this is actually like a perfect time to work on stuff when I'm working. As you're sitting here watching the stream and I have out my projects, pull out your projects, work on stuff. Yeah. Like, draw that drawing you've been thinking about for a long time, even if it's like something difficult, whether it's difficult um on a technical level, or whether it's difficult because it's hitting an emotional level. But I say draw, pick up that pencil. Heck yeah. Just go for it. Aw, thank you, Isaac. I appreciate your compliment, Isaac, but trust me, I am no actress whatsoever. I have tried in middle mini projects, but I am not very good. I try, but I'm not good. The way I trip over my words all the time, I'm just constantly like, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'd be a very good voice actor at all because I'm constantly tripping over my words, and also forgetting my words. But thank you, Isaac. I appreciate it. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah. Yeah, I think you should write that fantasy book when. And you know, I say why not work on it right now? You know, what's the matter with the present moment? Maybe not right now. Right now, you gotta finish that painting for sure. But maybe after the painting, maybe start that book. Why wait? Ooh, nice. Nice, Isaac. I like sushi. Sushi's so good. Isaac, what kind of sushi did you get? Alrighty. Well, that's it for the ears. I ended up painting all those way faster than I thought. I was like, oh, this will take up the whole time of the stream, these couple of ears. And then here I am, like, oh wow, there's a lot of time left over. I did it pretty quickly. Um, what to do? Okay. I do have to continue working on more ears. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I could do this on stream. I literally thought that this was going to take the whole time. How to paint animal ears. Let me make sure this was all of them. I think it was all of them, but I'm going to check my back stuff. Yep, nope. That was all of them. I know, right, Win? I was like, oh, it only took a quarter. Well, I'm ending it early, guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. um, how about I start working on more? I'm not sure how it'll work with cutting the fur. I can try to bring it on the table. Typically with the fur, I like put it on the floor because I get them in like lots of yards and half yards. Um, but I might have some smaller pieces that I can bring up here so you guys can see the full process. Yeah, let me try to set that all up. Sorry, I became so unprepared. And I don't have any more. Well, now you can see the full process of what I do. I guess this is a little bit more of a realistic sneak peek of what it's like when I'm working. Because when I'm working, this will happen where I'm like, oh, I got done with this, so I just roll over into the next project, you know, and just keep going, keep moving. What's going on my phone? Okay, never mind. It's just the social. So one project rolls into another. Ooh, nice. Shrimp and salmon and spicy tuna. That all sounds really good, Isaac. Sounds very good. Isaac, I will tell you though, since it is sushi and you got it yesterday, eat it today. If you don't eat all that raw fish today, toss it because you can get sick, okay? So just eat it today. Like raw fish you're supposed to eat right away. So please promise me, Isaac, please do not get sick from old fish. Enjoy it thoroughly all today. Same, same here. Um, same here, Nacho. I like to. Here, I'll put something here so there's something in the center rather than just a white screen. That's why I like working on multiple projects too, because I can ah! I dropped stuff. I like working on multiple projects because sometimes I kind of get into a roadblock or inspirational block, or sometimes like the ears, I cannot physically move on because the paint has to dry. So what do? I move on. I became very, very confused for a second. So I have two bags here. One is foam cores for the ears, and the other one was horns. These are all going to be horns. But I was like, why is there ears in the horns? See these triangle pieces? But no, they're the bottoms of the horns. So I'm not set up at all to work on horns. I would love to. But in order to do that, it's too much work. You guys are gonna see me set up more um than actually work. And that's kind of boring. So let's see what I got here. So this is typically actually good luck of what I'm typically do. So I have all these foam cores and I kind of just set out. Where can you see it? Can you see it right here? There you go. I set out what am I going to work on? I know that I do need a lot of smalls and extra smalls. I have lots of larges in the ears, so I'm trying to fulfill the smalls and extra smalls. And I kind of pair them up. And yes, they do have names, but at the same time with these names, they're not like hard set. The names are really just for me to keep track of which patterns I'm using because I have a lot of different patterns, a lot of different designs. And having names on all of them really helps me. So it's more of a note for me than anything. You know what? I don't want to stress myself out. Okay. There we go. So I set out my foam cores. And then I keep the rest in a bag. So I got a mixture of some smalls, some extra smalls, and you know what? I do need more fox ears. This design here is what I actually use for my fox ears, and actually I think the fabric would fit on this desk. So let's work on some fox ears. I didn't disappear, I swear. And then on this bag, I have my patterns that I use for the fur. And then I also have in this bag are all my two-tones. So I have to find two-tone wolf. No. I have to find, and for some weird reason, like a long time ago when I made these two-tone patterns, I actually named the small wolf one uh, box, and it confused me for a little bit. Here we go. Small wolf, but I named it small fox, and I don't know what I was thinking, but at least for me, I know what I'm doing. Alrighty, Isaac. I trust you. You know what you're doing. Yeah, I know, right? Ebola food poisoning is the worst. The absolute worst. Alright, so I'm gonna just move these foam cores aside. And yep, all these patterns are made by me. I make all my own patterns. All right, so now I got these two. This is going to be the top, so this is going to be the like inner white of the animal ears, and then this part here is going to be the orange, and that's going to be the black. So we'll start with the orange. Sometimes this part is so small, I'll actually go through my scrap fur fabric, and I'll like use this for the scrap pieces, which helps me save fur. All right. So yeah, actually this is small enough. I know, guys. This is it on my orange fur. That's all I have left. I've been waiting for 2 months for more order of orange fur to come in so I can make more fox ears, fox tails. I've been waiting for so long. But when it comes in, I'm gonna order some more and uh make more fox ears and tails because people like the foxes. I don't blame them. I like foxes too. All right, so the very important thing is to make when making ears, which direction is the fur going? I know some cosplayers will actually draw arrows on the other side to tell which way the fur is going. I used to do that in the beginning, but now I kind of don't feel like I need the guidelines. Because I mean, I can see it right here. I'm going to take my pattern, and I like to use a marker that is a similar-ish color to whatever fur color I'm using. So this is a darker orange than this orange. So if it shows on the seams, it's not really noticeable. It kind of looks natural. Aw, thank you, Evo Leia. I like dressing up fun. So, I'm also going to lay down my pattern, and I'm paying attention to which of my fur direction it's going. So I kind of like to leave them slightly tilted because I kind of want the fur to go in this direction as I go. And I really try to use up as much of the fur as possible because I want to maximize how much I use. And I don't know if this orange will come up on the screen, but at least I can see it. There we go. And then as a note for myself, I like to draw in the corner which direction. So this is the bottom part of the ear. It's just so I don't get flip-flopped around. Sometimes that can happen. and then I just trace out my pieces. So since I have 2 foam cores here, that means I'll need 2 right pieces and 2 left pieces. I don't like that there. Oh, no, that's okay. Also, another thing on my list I gotta make is more winter fox ears. I don't have any more in my collection, and people like them. All right, so I'm gonna put this here, and I have scissors. So I've learned from all my experience, uh, you need really sharp scissors to cut this fur, but also too, scissors, like anything, will dull out the more you use them. So I actually have these scissors that I use for my fur only, just so it doesn't dull out as fast as if I was using it foam, paper, everything, hot glue. And to cut underneath, so typically, traditionally, this should be done with a X-Acto blade, but it started, the pressure of the X-Acto blade and cutting them actually started to hurt my wrist even more. So I was like, okay, there has to be like another way around this. Originally, it was my mom that discovered this. At first, I was like, no, you're not supposed to cut it with scissors. But what I'm doing is I'm not just cutting them with scissors, I'm actually like putting the blade of these scissors underneath. So I'm going past all the fur so I don't cut the fur. And I'm just cutting just the fabric part that the fur is attached to. And I'm very careful when I do this, and I'm very mindful because I actually don't want to cut the fur underneath. See how it's like, it's still pretty. They weren't cut. It was just cut along the fabric. Because if you're not careful, if I just went along like scissors and went like this, it makes this like really flat, blunt edge. Or even if I go like this, and I cut it like that. Now look, now I have this not so pretty or flattering piece. We don't want the fur to look like that, and it looks all jagged. It doesn't look full versus this. And this is going to make a mess because now, oh my gosh, toss. All right, so we got one piece there. So I'm getting my scissors right underneath, making sure not to cut the fur itself, just the fabric it's attached to. In this way, it's so much easier on my wrist, but you need super sharp scissors to do this. If you come in with some very dull kitchen scissors, trust me, it's gonna tear apart the fabric. It won't be a clean cut. So make sure you have very sharp scissors. These ones here, if you're curious what kind they are, they're actually paper scissors for scrapbooking. And they work really well. They're super sharp. All Alrighty, Nacho. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you later, Nacho. Bye. Nice, nice, Isaac. Sounds good. Got the chili sauce and soy sauce. You're all set. Thank you, Nacho. Thank you. I hope, yeah, it should be a good stream. Planning on making good progress today. Yeah, I am in focus mode. Sorry. And also too, I started like explaining a lot about my process and that kind of stuff, so I do apologize. Aw, thank you, Win. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad you find this interesting. Yeah, but now you can kind of see why sometimes it takes some time. Why these ears take time. Gotta cut all these pieces out. So, as for. There we go. And now I got these orange pieces. There we go. Um, as for like the little black tips in the white interior, um, I'm going to have to. I don't think I can do that on this tabletop because surface area, the pieces I have are very large, so that will be at least a start. And what I like to do is I like to stack them. So this goes together, this goes together, and I put it aside. So later on I'll move on to that. I do have the foam cores for a cute wolf though. So let's see. What's small fur? I think I saw some gray or even, let's see, what do I got? What do I have? Oh, look at that. I have some brown. And brown is very popular. I will say that. Oh, you're all good, Win. Yeah, I thought you were talking about my ears, and the ear process is pretty neat. But my outfits, oh, thank you. Yeah, I like dressing creative. So I got some brown here. I actually need more of this too. This is a very popular color because people like to match their natural hair color. So, but I'm like, hey, it's small. I can fit on the screen. We're going to use this cute wolf here. Um, And for darker colors like this, I actually like using metallic pens. I find it easier to show up. And sometimes I think the black Sharpie is a little too harsh, especially when it looks up along the seams. So again, I'm paying attention to which way my fur is going. And then I'm going to trace if my pen will even work. Sometimes if it's not primed enough, it won't work. Gosh, I can hardly see that. No, don't tell me you're running out of ink. There we go. Now it is primed. There we go. Yeah, like I really like the metallic pens, like the copper or the gold on any kind of brown fur. And then I really like to use silver for like black or even really dark brown. And you probably notice like there's some pretty big chunks in here, but it's not big enough for ears. This stuff I will actually save and I use for my two-toned ears because that can fit in there. And actually I've been collecting quite a bit of scrap fabric that I could make actually quite a few two-tone, and a few of my ears are actually scrap fabric two-tones that are in my batch right over here. I like being resourceful. I do. I like to, when I have art supplies, I like to use up as much as possible. I don't really like making waste. So if I can think of a creative way of maxing out the use for something, then I totally will. There we go. Nah, thank you, Win. Yes, I am in focus mode, especially that I'm trying to get as many ears done as possible for the next shows. And also, too, I wasn't I honestly thought that the painting of the ears was going to take the whole time. So I'm a little, like, surprised. Like, I had to quick think, like, think very quick on my feet. Wait, what can I show? Like, well, what would I do naturally if I was just by myself? And this is pretty much it. If I was just working, I would just by myself, watching a movie or listening to some music. I'd be like, well, I'm getting out more fur. Just gonna keep going. And I'm actually low on clip-on ears. So I think maybe these ones here will turn into clip-on ears, or at least one of them will. Oh my gosh, you made more clove clips. I'll have to check them out, Lynn. Oh my gosh. She is a funny cat. All right, so now that I have these, I'm going to pair them with these foam cores. And there we are. I got the little mouse. As you can see, it's a lot of me moving the fabric around. Now just imagine like this fabric, but a whole yard of it. Actually, then I kind of like move myself rather than move the fur, but yeah. And yet again, I like want to move on to the white fur, but um, what I have is too big to bring on the table, so you know what? I have such little left of this fur. Why don't I just finish it up? Because I have more foam cores of like my extra small sizes, these two sizes. Yeah, look how little I have of this left. I got a strip. Yeah, I think I'm going to I think I'm gonna go grab the other foam cores that are the cute wolf in the mouse design and finish this up. Because why store that away? I'll do that. Actually, I wonder, I have more of these small wolf if I could fit. Oh, I could do some small wolf in here. Could I fit two? I could. I could fit two. Hmm. Could I fit three? Oh, damn, that's cutting it close. But yes, I could. All right. So I need my cute wolf. Oh, cute wolf is here. I'll have to cut out another foam core. I only have these ones here. And for my cute wolf, I'll do that. And then I got mouse and mouse. And that should be able to finish it up. Yep. Well, I mean, let me see how the best I can answer this. How small can it go before I can't use it anymore? Um, I well, as small as where my pattern wouldn't fit anymore. So like I look at this piece of faux fur that I have here, and that's why I was kind of laying out my patterns, because I was kind of like mapping out in my head, okay, can this fit here? And be like, yep, that can fit there, and then I could fit another one here. And then I'm going to use up these spots and fit some right in there. So I kind of that's how I map it out. And then these pieces here, uh obviously a pattern can't fit in here, but these two-tone pieces are very small. And look, I can fit the two-tone in there. So I could like make this the tip color of a pair of ears. So I will save this piece. I won't throw this away because I could get that in there and I could get that in there. And look, I got the tip of two more ears. So, but then beyond this point, any of those pieces, how small they'll be, probably no good. I won't be able to use it anymore. I actually gave a friend this orange fur, a bunch of scrap pieces, because she's like, hey, you got scrap pieces, I kind of need it for cosplay. One of her characters, I guess his like mortal enemy, but another half at the same time, um, has orange fur. And she's like, oh, it would be kind of cool if this character had like pieces of his enemies or his counterparts fur in there. So scrap pieces, it really is about creativity. So even though I couldn't do anything with those scrap pieces, she's making it look like torn up fur, which ends up being absolutely perfect. So I think it really lies on where your creativity and how far you want to take it and how far you want to think outside the box. I mean, heck, even I've used like my scraps from my um paint palettes and that kind of stuff and made really cool art out of it. Where normally people would be like, oh, that's supposed to be just thrown away, you know? But I'm like, nah, these textures are so cool. I can make something with it. I mean, I'm sure with all the scrap fabric that I have, if I got creative enough to make some kind of cosplay prop with them, um, I bet you I could even think of something to do with the teeny tiny pieces that I think everyone else would deem as non-usable. Like right now, I'm challenging myself. I'm like, what could I do with those pieces? And then I started thinking of like my horns, and I'm like, ooh, what if I did like winter dragons and I glued the scrap for like a very thin amount at the bottom of the horns or something like that. Actually, I might do that. That actually sounds like really cool, especially have a lot of white. And then especially if it's like an ice dragon. Wait, that might be cool. Okay. It's gonna be my next project. I'm gonna make some ice dragon horns. See, that's how ideas come to me. I just start thinking, oh, what if? And then I have an idea. I'm like, wait, that's actually brilliant. Why not? No, think how cool that would be. Like dark ice blue, like kind of like a dark gray blue color, or even a light white icy blue. And then like white fur at the bottom brim of them, and then they're clip ons. I like this idea. I'm doing it. You're gonna see. You'll see that in the near future. All of a sudden, I'll be like, wait, I was there at that stream when that idea was born. I have thought Evolea of Frankensteining something and like sewing pieces together or even gluing them on a sheet and having like this multi mix. Why I have not done it yet is because the time, the time it would take to do that. I don't know if I deem it as like, oh gosh, I might do it for once just for shits and giggles. But the time that would take to Frankenstein all these, because they're all like jagged pieces. I mean, the visual is cool. Trust me, I've thought of it. I think it'd be really cool. Especially like these multicolored ears. Like, I was thinking, how could I make calico cat ears? Um, but the time to do that, oh man, be a lot. I'm tempted though. Very, very, very tempted. Ooh, very cool, Isaac. Very cool. New Pokemon game. Isaac, I bet you're gonna be playing that. I could win. I could. That'd be really cool. I could make some gold horns. I gotta make water horns. I have actually ideas of how to make water dragons with like side gills. See, always so many ideas. Look at that, and finished up some fur too, which I need more room in my drawers, so it's actually good I'm finishing up some fur. So I can organize and clean up some stuff. There we are. Oh, I didn't know that, Isaac, that it was an old Game Boy game that they're remaking. Okay, well, that's super cool. I bet that's gonna hit the nostalgia for so many people. I had a Game Boy. I liked my Game Boy. I never had any Pokemon games for it, though. Shockingly enough, because I actually did like Pokemon. I liked the TV show, and I had a couple toys. And I remember I tried to get into the Pokemon cards as a kid, but I don't know, like, I remember being so excited. One of my birthdays, I got a pack of Pokemon cards, and I opened it all up, and I got super excited when I first saw them. But then that was it. And I was like, well, now what do I do with them? And then there that stopped. Because I was like, cool, now I have them. And I end up using them as bookmarks. And still to this day, sometimes every once in a while, I'll get like a gift of some Pokemon cards. And I'm like, what do I do with them? So they become bookmarks. That's how you can tell I'm a fairy. Is using different things for different things. Using things for their unexpected purpose. Evilay, you're funny. Kind of waiting for the Pokemon Touch Some Grass edition. Isn't that technically Pokemon Go? I'm sorry, but that kind of is Pokemon Go if you think about it, because it does force you to go outside and explore your neighborhood and the world around you, but collecting Pokemon. Woo! Look at that. All right, got one more piece here. One more piece. And this is the start of every single pair of ears that I do. So when I say, "Oh, it's ear factory time," this is what I mean. This is what I do. There we go. Yep, look at those. Those ears. I didn't use these foam cores, but that's okay. Can throw those back in the bin. Yeah, and that's how it is. It's just like assembly line work. You know what I could show you all is how I bend the wire to go inside. So, you know what? I'm gonna put my patterns away and put these away too. And then let me get out some stuff for the remainder of this stream and show you how I shape the wire for all these pieces. I think you'll find it all very entertaining. The wire. It's the glittery box. Glitter, glitter. Oh. So, got my cutters, got my wire, cutters. And so I used to have to hand bend all the wires, and then my dad made these really useful jigs. Thank goodness. It speeds up the process so much. So like these little guys here, where I can fit the wire through. Yeah, I'll show you how they work. Oh my gosh, so nice. Rather than hand bending all of them. Especially with starting to hurt my hands over time. Like, I don't mean to sound like a wimp, but when you're doing 1 or 2 sets of ears, you're like, whatever. But no. I'm literally doing hundreds of ears. Hundreds upon hundreds. I bet I've done a couple thousand at this point of how many years I've done. Alright, so I got my jig, and I'm going to do the cute wolf one here first. So I got these ones right there. And what I do, I grab my wire. And pull some out, kind of straighten it. And then, so the bottom wire, the little like tails that will hook onto, will be wire wrapped around the headband or the clips, will come down here. And I bend it. And then I twist it around. And that will be my corner. Whoop. And basically, so this line here is my fur line. So as long as the wire is inside the fur line, I am fine. Because I don't want any metal peeking out at all when assembling these. We don't need any metal peeking out with these ears. We want them to be fluffy, not cold. We're not making cyborg ears here. And then I kind of pop it out, and I just reshape it a little bit, and there we go. And now I got 1 ear, and then I put it with the one that it belongs, and I kind of do that over and over and over again. And that's how to make the wire interiors. This is also, so I've tried many different types of wire in different gauges over my time of making these ears, but my favorite is this, I believe it's 18 gauge, I want to say. Yeah, 18 gauge galvanized steel has been by far my favorite. It's really strong. Um, it's also not impossible to bend, and you can bend it over and over again in the same area, and it's not going to snap easily. Like, all metal, yes, will, but I feel like with this galvanized steel, if you bend it so much that it breaks, it's because you intentionally broke it. So yeah, you can wear these ears, you can have it bent, not bent, change the expression over and over again, and it'll stay good and strong and it won't break on you. It's like that's not gonna happen. Yeah. And I've tried all different gauge wire too. I've tried smaller, but I don't like the small ones. Um, I don't like because they don't hold the ears up very well. The smaller gauge is, I forget which size I used. It's like half the size of this. It was okay for the extra small ears, but then it wouldn't hold up any other like ears very well. It kind of like flopped around, and I'm like, not very good. And at one time I tried what is it called? Aluminum, because I liked how light the aluminum was, but it's very fragile. Aluminum's not strong at all. And sometimes even just bending it a couple of times, the ears ended up snapping on me, and I was like, okay, this is not good. I can't sell this or make this. This is not the quality that I want at all. Right. And we got one more cute wolf. So I'm just gonna do one more of this one. I think it's kind of funny. You guys got to see the process a bit backwards of the ears. Because, like, this is the first steps. But we started off with painting ears. There we go. And one more. Aluminum. I know. I know. Evolea. I say aluminum really funny. There are certain words that I just pronounce in the most interesting of ways, and I don't know why. You can make fun of me all you want. I used to hate being made fun of for that, but I've gotten over that now. I'm like, I am aware. I don't pronounce words always very well. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you like seeing the process, Win. Yay, I'm happy you do. Now you can see why I'm like, when I'm making ears, I'm making ears. It takes a while, it's a process. All right, so now I have all the ears, now I have all the wires made for the cute wolf size, my little tiny, uh, extra smalls. Um, Now onto the small wolf. And I do actually have a jig for that. There we go. Yay! This is a new jig. Brand new. Dad just made it because there was like a couple of designs I was missing. So I'm like, hey, by the way, I didn't realize this. That's so, yeah, so this is my small wolf one. And that's the same pattern I was using to make like the box ears. I also made a brown pair right over there. Well, thank you, Win. It's all good. Anyway, I'm okay for some playful banter. Doesn't bother me. All right, so got my first one of the small wolf, which I'll put with that. Yeah, these jigs my dad made are super, super useful. Oh my gosh. Super useful. I use them all the time. There we go. And that's it for one pair. And then now I have two more pairs. Thank you, Win. Shout out to my dad, shout out to my mom, my brother. Everyone helps me so much, and I really appreciate everyone's help. Hey, I wouldn't be doing my art the way that I am if it wasn't for my family. It really takes a team effort. It really does. And get back into shape. Yes, shout out to the fairy family. Yep. Thank you, Win. almost done with the wire. I have 2 more of these to make for my fox ears, and then I have 2 to make for the mouse ears. And then you know what? Be that should be it. That should be it for the stream today. I'll end it with these mouse ears here. Nah. Don't be sad, Eva Leia. Do not be sad. It was a good stream today. Alright. And then one more of these, I promise. I like the... No, that's wiggly. Might glue it down. I like making the ears bendable. It actually surprised me how many ears out there and how many ear makers don't make their ears bendable. But I do always like to see people's reactions when I show them that my ears do bend. And they're like, oh. Exactly, Win. Don't be sad and be happy that it even happened. Yes. There we go. Alright, so there's the last piece to the fox ears. Or it's last piece to the fox ears, like as if the fox ears are close to being done. I still have 2 more colors to cut out, but that'll be later. Now for the mouse ears. I have 2 mouse ears. These mouse ears, or some people call them lion ears. I feel like that's funny. Isn't that a fairy tale? Isn't there a fairy tale with a mouse and a lion and like the lion's like stuck in a cage or something like that, and the mouse helps the lion get out of the cage? And at first the lion was thinking he could deceive the rat or the mouse. And then when the mouse actually goes through with saving the lion's life, the lion decides to not hurt the little mouse and not deceive him, and they become friends. Something like that. Anyways, I don't know why that just came into thought. I think it was just because I'm like, lions are nice. These little tails, I think, are a little too long. Should make them a slightly shorter. They don't need to be that long for these little guys. But, yeah. And then I'm just gonna wrap it around. I think honestly the smaller ears are the most tricky for the wire part because they are so small. I mean, look at all these little notches I have to go through. There we go. The feet, they're not that much shorter, but just a tad. Especially that they don't need to be that long. Especially that I'm even thinking about putting those specifically on clips to make clip-ons. Because right now I only have fox ears, or not fox ears, just like the cat or wolf ear style as for clip-ons, and I don't have any other style. And I might actually make some mouse themed clip-on ears. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. There we go. So that's a little bit better. Where's, oh, there it is. I was like, where did I put the other mouse ears? Where did I put those? Well, my fingertips can definitely feel it. They can feel it for sure, but there we go. All right. Now all the ears have their wire interiors so that they will be able to bend. Yeah, these things very, very useful. Like them a lot. But yeah, so basically what it'll be is I'll do cut another piece of fur, put this on top, and glue it all together. Maybe I'll get to it today. I have lots of other things to work on that are important and that need to get done. So if I'll get to working on these, I don't know. Also too, I have the other ears that are painted. If once those are dry, I'm gonna wire wrap them on the bands and add little earrings and stuff and then add them to the stock. So those will take top priority because they're so close to being done. These little guys, not sure when I'll get to them, but hopefully soon because I do need them. The Lion and the Mouse. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't remember. I just remember it being like a fairy tale, like a long time ago. When I'm calling from a memory, when I think I was like in summer camp, I think this summer camp I was like second or third grade, and it was cool. Like there was all these different like art classes you could take, and activities and that kind of stuff. um and one day for lunch, maybe it was all the days, I don't remember, but one of the days when we were eating lunch, there in our lunchroom there was a stage, and the teachers or someone, I don't remember exactly who, but the camp, summer camp itself, put on a play, and it was some fairy tale to do with a lion and a mouse, and it was kind of funny because the costumes I remember were kind of silly. um but that, so we're recalling from a memory. I was probably like 7 years old. A long time ago. There's different book versions. Okay, so maybe it was something like that. I don't know. It's not that important. Don't worry about it too much, when it's just a silly little memory. This little memory that popped in my head. Well, anywho, it is now that time. Um, I know, I'm sorry. Uh, Time goes by so fast. But thank you for sitting and chilling here with me, and I'm glad that you like seeing the process that I go through when I'm making all these cosplay animal ears. As you can see, there's a lot to it, a lot of steps. Yes, please do win. I want to see what clove clips he took. Yes, please. I always want to see. She's such a funny cat. Well, anywho, thank you so much for watching today. It was fun doing something different. Um I will say though that next week's Tuesdays and Wednesdays stream will sadly be canceled. I know, tears. I'm sad. Um there's just like a lot of family things going on, and I'm just very, very busy. So unfortunately, I will not be able to stream on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. I know. But during that time, I don't know how much art I'll be able to get done during that time. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna try to do art. I always at least have to sketch something for my mental health. Bare minimum, if I can sketch something, I'm okay. So I'll try to keep you guys posted. Maybe send like some little sketches that I do or something fun. To at least be like, hey, here's some little things. Sorry, I'm not streaming. But yeah. Yes, Evo Leia, that is very true. Mental health is very important. And for me and my art, that's important. Yeah, I'll probably, you know what? When I sketch some things together, if I have quick minutes to just throw a sketch, I'll throw it on Discord to show you all, keep the interaction up. Discord, exactly, Discord. But thank you all here for joining me today, and I will see you in the following week. What I'll be working on then, I'm not exactly sure. I have paintings I can do. I have cosplay stuff I can work on. I might do another stream of ears because that'll be right before some shows. So I'm probably going to start trying to prepare for those. I also have the Jinx Booms. These are what I was working on last night to get them all nice and tarnished looking. Now they're drying. I do want to do a stream of their graffiti art, so possibly I'll work on that if I haven't done it already. And then, like I said, I am working with a deadline on these, so we'll see. Aw, thank you, and thank you for always being here and hanging out. I appreciate you. Aw, thank you, Evo Leia. I'm glad you enjoy the time too. I'm glad you enjoy seeing the progress and everything. It's good hanging out with everyone. Well, I hope you all have a good rest of your week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Keep crafting, keep creating, be creative. And I will talk to you all, or I'll see you all in the following week. Alrighty, as for now, bye.